It was the second half of the 21st century, when humanity had finally broken through the triple barriers of gravity, the atmosphere, and psychology, and full of anxiety and excitement, they sent cargo of every description to the distant red planet of their dreams. Competition extended from low Earth orbit all the way to the surface of Mars, as men and women, serving different governments, in different uniforms, speaking different languages, completed different missions pursuant to different development plans. The transports back then had been clumsy, like metal elephants wrapped in thick grey-green steel skin, stepping across the gulf of space, slow and steady, thumping into the dusty surface of Mars, yawning open their cargo bay doors to disgorge heavy machinery, boxes of food, and eager minds full of passion. The ship was also unaware that 70 years before its birth, government transports were gradually replaced by private commercial development vessels. For 30 years, Martian bases were all the rage, and the sensitive feelers of merchants, like magic beanstalks, rose inch by inch into the sky, and Jacks climbed up with bills of lading and lines of credit, ready to explore this wonderland of sandstorms. Initially, businesses focused on physical goods, and an alliance between big business and big government connected the two worlds with a web woven from land easements, sourcing licenses, and space product development rights, all gilded with stirring lines of poetry. Eventually, attention shifted to knowledge itself, following the same path traced by the historical development of economies on Earth, except that a process that had taken 2 centuries in the past was compressed into 20 years. Intangible assets dominated business deals, and those who loved money plucked the brains of scientists like ripe fruits until virtual fences rose up between Martian bases. Back then, the ships that plied the dark sea of space had carried spinning restaurants filled with cocktail parties and talk of contracts, an attempt to replicate the hubbub on Earth. The ship was also unaware that 40 years before its birth, warships appeared along its current route. Once the war for Martian independence erupted, there were many causes. The adventurers and engineers of the various Martian bases united to resist their Earth-based overseers. With astronautics and prospecting technology, they sought to overcome money and political power. Warships linked together, like Themistocles' wooden wall, to repel the invaders, a force as magnificent as the swelling tide, and which retreated just as quickly. Nimble, speedy warplanes then rushed in, propelled across the gulf of space by the rage of betrayal, at once wild and dispassionate, dropped their bombs so that bloody flowers bloomed silently in the dust. The ship knew none of these things, because by the time it was born, a ceasefire had been in place for 10 years. The night sky was once again silent, and the once busy shipping route deserted. It was born in all-consuming darkness. Assembled from metallic fragments drifting in space, it faced the starry sea alone, shuttling back and forth between 2 planets, plying an ancient trade route that had witnessed both the glory of commerce and the devastation of war. The ship sailed noiselessly across empty space, a single silvery drop, traversing distance, traversing vacuum, traversing invisible ramparts, traversing a history deliberately forgotten. 30 years had passed since the ship's birth, and time's lasting tracks adorned its worn shell. The inside of the ship was a maze. Except for the captain, no one understood its true layout. It was a huge ship. Stairways connected multiple decks, filled with twisting passages and honeycombed cabins. Large storage compartments scattered around the ship resembled palaces fallen into ruin, their spacious interiors piled with goods and equipment, their dusty corners confessing to an absence of visitors. Narrow passageways connected these palaces with bedrooms and dining halls, and the knotty structure resembled the plot of some particularly complicated novel.